the mid-'80s when consistency was starting to happen with the New York Giants, and playoff appearances in 1984, 85, and of course
81 also.
81 under Ray Perkins, actually.
Exactly
Ray Perkins, who went on to go to Alabama right
that's
after.
correct,
Right.
yeah.
And but wanted to ask you about that 86 season. The fact that the Giants started 2-2 and then won the rest of the games.
Yeah.
You went, whereas 15 in a row to take it. Like, talk about the mindset. What was it? Because Mark Bavaro had him on the show, and he said that everyone refused to lose. That was that was it. Like, please elaborate more on that.
A magical year where all of the ingredients were there. They were put together. But, you know, people always want to talk about the 86 season. You can't talk about the 86 season without talking about the 85 season.
Right.
Because that was the impetus of our dedication. And for those that don't know that, the 85 season was when we lost in Chicago to the Chicago Bears. We were actually shut out. I believe the score was 17-0. And we thought we were a very good team back in those days, and we knew that we were in order to get to that point. But when we came up against the Chicago Bears, we found out what it really takes to be champion. And Chicago showed us in no uncertain terms. And we left there licking our wounds, completely embarrassed. And before we left that stadium, I remember Harry Carson and I called a team meeting, and we kicked the coaches out. And we determined that there was not going to be any offseason that year, that we were going to dedicate ourselves at that moment for the next year. And we got everybody's buy-in to it, and everybody dedicated themselves. We went out and in that very first game the next year against the Dallas Cowboys, you know, we lost down in Dallas. So we kind of like didn't set the tempo very well. But after that second loss, as you say, we simply refused to lose. And it was a magical season. It was something that dreams are made out of. And boy, I will never forget that that championship game when we beat the Washington Redskins for the third time that season.
That's right. Shut them out.
Yeah. Which was, I mean, you think about it, phenomenal. You talked about the Hogs. How can you beat a Joe Gibbs team 3 times in one season? That's quite an accomplishment. And that gave us such confidence going into the Super Bowl. But I remember that after that championship game, to see the confetti raining down, to see people tearing, and old men who had just been following us for years, embracing and hugging. Man, we went to California, and we were not to be denied. And that very scene played itself out yet again in those stands out there. Because once we beat the Denver Broncos, just the total rain of emotions was overwhelming, just absolutely overwhelming. It was a day that, and I have the worst memory in the world, I can tell you that. But I can remember that day as if it were yesterday, and to see all of the folks who had supported you throughout your career, to see all of the people who had planned their lives around Giant games. I mean, picnic, birthdays, weddings, you name it. They would say, well, let me check this Giant schedule before. I've heard that said so many times, and it's absolutely true. They embrace us as part of their family, the Giant fans. And I think to have a long, sustained career with the Giants, New York Giants, it puts you in a different type of status. You become family, an external family member to a whole range of people, and that's unique.
That's for sure, and I know that the Chicago Bears, the Giants had the home field advantage that year, so I know that would have been something. Like, I know you guys wanted Chicago to get them.
We weren't playing network.
Well, and you had a safety in that Super Bowl, second John Elway.
And if you can believe it, after 12 years, that was the first and only safety that I've had in my career, and it happened in the Super Bowl, and it was so amazing. I actually used a bit of trickery in order to accomplish that, because we had a rookie tackle on our team, and when we went to the huddle, I said, listen, his name is Eric Howard. I said, Eric, do not, whatever I say, don't listen to it. Don't respond to anything I say, no matter what I say. Don't respond to it. So, you gotta overemphasize things to rookies. So as we broke the huddle, he came out of the huddle, and I said, Eric, we're gonna run a game. I said, Eric, we're running the game. And he ignored me. I said, Eric, we're running the game. And the offensive tackle over there, he's listening to me and said, oh, they're going to run a game. I came down hard inside board, and he knew we were running the game. And he bit down on it. And just as he bit on it, I came around the outside, and there was John Elway waiting for me.
Right.
All gift wrap. So, it was a great game.
And that half ended at 10-9, and then the rest was history. And it was Giants' second, probably the greatest half of football in the history of the Super Bowl.
Well, to be honest with you, we were a little bit tired. I think emotionally, and the fact that it was very hot. So I think we'd gotten, our adrenaline had really gotten us up into a fever pitch. And with the sun, I know that we were dragging a little bit just before half, but after halftime, the sun had gone down behind the stadium, and we kind of revitalized
Nice
ourselves.
breeze too, a nice Pasadena down.
And I'll say two things: Phil Simms and Joe Morris. They almost had a perfect. Phil almost had a perfect game.
That's right. Only 3 incompletions.
But they were offense was phenomenal that day. Absolutely phenomenal. They were.
Yes, indeed. And just watching that game, amazing. And I went, but it was great. Like what you to allude to what you said earlier, the fact when the confetti was coming down, all the years of heartache, the late '70s of what was going on, and everything culminated. It's great when you have to go through some pain first to get that satisfaction and get that victorious feeling.
And I tell people all the time that you're so blessed, you're so fortunate to, in any realm, to be considered the very best at what you do, whether it's corporate America or whether it's in professional athletics. But people don't realize that just going to the championship game, just going to the Super Bowl is only half the battle. And if you doubt that, just ask any member of the Buffalo Bills. I mean, because they'll tell you that they went to 4 Super Bowls and came up short every time. And if you can imagine, if they'd gone to 4 Super Bowls and won 4 Super Bowls, they would have been mentioned in the same breath as the Pittsburgh Steelers. They would have certainly been a dynasty, much like we talk about New England Patriots.
Right.
But the point is that there's no guarantee that even if you get to the Super Bowl, that it's going to be a memorable experience. Scott Norwood notwithstanding. But, the Giants went and, at least in 1987, we emerged victorious. And that has made all the difference in my life, I can tell you that.